So in Excel 2.5, we're going to talk about financial and logical and lookup functions. So for anyone who's had the construction management economics class or knows anything about economics, one useful thing is to be able to calculate a payment amount. For instance, for a mortgage, for a car payment, even paying off a credit card can be used in a lot of different ways. If you want to look up that information, you can either hit your FX button, you can go to your formula button and go to financial, whatever it is that you like to do best. We're going to go through one example that is for payments. If you're looking on what kind of payment to make, you'll notice that the top function that comes back is PMT, which is going to calculate the payment for a loan based on constant payments and a constant interest rate. If you say OK, you get your cheater box. The rate that you put in is going to be the interest rate per period. So example, if you have 6% divided by 4, that's going to be quarterly payments of 6% APR. That is your annual percent per year. So let's say we have a rate of 4% per year and we're doing monthly payments. In our rate, we would say 4% divided by 12. And it's going to automatically calculate that out to the decimal form it needs to be in. On your N per, that's going to be your total number of payments. So for a mortgage, for example, you would have 12 payments a year on let's say it's a 30-year loan. So 12 times 30 would be 360 payments. And PV is going to be the present value. So this would be how much you're buying your house for. Let's say we want to buy the house for $150,000. When you say OK, it's going to tell you need to pay $716.12 a month. So this just calculates your payments for constant rate and consistent amounts for annual type payments. Another function, and this is one of my favorite functions, is the if function. Think of it like an if-then statement. If something happens, then do something else. So you could set it up maybe like, again, always equals. If is the formula, open parentheses, or I guess we should go through our formula button. The easier we go. So if, we want to say if something happens. Let's say if this number is greater than 0. And it's going to tell you that yes, it is greater than 0, that's true. So if it's true, what do you want it to say? Well, you can say, if it's true, make this cell equal a number. Or you can have it say, if it's true, say OK. And if you do text, make sure and put it in quotes. Again, you'll see what's happening over here. If it doesn't show up right over here, that's kind of your test. Maybe if it's false, maybe it's no good. And you'll see that because this is true, you're going to get your true answer. This is the final answer. So when you say OK, it says OK. If we change this to a negative number, you'll notice all of a sudden it says no good because we wrote in an if-then statement. So if is a good one. You can say if something happens, then do something else. And the last quick example we're going to do here in part 5 of chapter 2 is a lookup function. VLOOKUP is really good. HLOOKUP is also good. VLOOKUP is a vertical lookup. What it's going to do is take a set of information, maybe this set of information. It's going to look up numbers or words or names. It's going to look up some information, and it can return to you a column in this array. So they call it an array when it's a big range of cells and data. Like this would be an array of information. So let's say we want to look up a certain product ID number, and then next to it, we want to put what the cost is. So we're going to do a VLOOKUP in this column and have it return this column over here. So when we hit our function, and we want to do a VLOOKUP, the value we're looking up is this one. The table array, again, that's the group of information, is this table array. And then the column index number says which column would you like it to return to you. So it's the column number in the table from which the matching value should be returned. The first column of values is column 1. So this is column 1, this is column 2, and this is column 3. So if we want cost, we want column 3. When you say OK, looks like we have a problem here. That's a number, and that's a cost. And that value, we should, oh, the 11111 actually is not one of our product ID numbers. So it didn't find it anywhere, which is why there's not an answer available. What if we say 11123? There we get the cost coming back. So how about 33420? Well, we could take this equation and copy it down, right? Not so fast. Remember our absolute referencing? We always want to look, this first number, we always want to look, whatever cell we're in, we want to look to the left of it. So leaving that as an open relative reference is okay. But this set of information, we always want to look back to that range. So if you highlight this information and hit F4, you'll notice that dollar signs appear everywhere. And that way, that's an absolute reference. Now we can copy it down, and you'll notice that when it found this number over here, it returned the cost in column 3. And then we can copy it down again. You'll notice it found the 56009, and we also want to fill it without formatting it, and that way we keep our borders. But it returned the cost for that product ID number. Now, one thing that you'll have to note is that whichever column you're searching through, you need to make sure that those are either in number order or alphabetical order. Otherwise, it won't return the right information. Like, for example, if this number is starts with 11,000, 22,000, if this one goes back to 14,000, it would mess up potentially if you're trying to find information, because it tries to read this column in order. So always make sure that whichever column you're searching through is put in either number or alphabetical order. And that is the end of 2.5.